right, so I'm gonna jump right into it, but I just want to give you guys a little backstory. My name is Mateo, and I travel full time in my 1999 Chevy Astro with my cat Lars, who is out of frame. But yeah, I compiled a list of things, tips, tricks, things to do before, during, and beyond that are about van life or living in a vehicle of some sort. So I'm gonna share all that with you. I made a big list, so I cut it into 3 parts. If you guys want to see the other 2 parts, subscribe, like, comment, let me know below. I can get a part 2 and maybe a part 3 to you guys, but let's get started. Okay, so you've decided that you're interested in trying out van life, yeah? Why? That's the first question you need to ask yourself. You need to figure out what is the reason that you want to try this. What's your intention? Are you interested in it because it just looks like a fun thing to try on the weekends? Are you interested in it because you want to use it as a form of escapism to, spice up life? Are you interested in it because of all the glamorous, YouTube and Instagram pages that just promote this like beautiful waking up to the ocean, waking up to the sunrise kind of thing, or a different reason? Think about what your reason is, because if you start this with good intention and a pure intention, it'll help you stay on the road much longer. So think about what your intention is. All right, so you figured out why you want to do this. The next thing is going to be how to get started. What do you need to do before you start? And there's definitely a few things that you should consider doing before you start this. A few of those would be getting rid of a lot of clutter that you have, excess things that you don't need to bring with you. You can give it away on like a buy nothing page, or you can sell stuff, but you're gonna wanna make sure you get rid of a lot of things. I wiped out my entire room before I left, and I gave everything away. I probably should have sold some stuff because I actually gave away some pretty good stuff, but I waited way too long, and I just pretty much gave things away through the Buy Nothing app in Los Angeles where I was at the time. So you're gonna wanna weed down the things, only bring the essential things, because you're gonna end up collecting along the way. One important thing that you might not think about is mail. If you're traveling, you're gonna have to figure out a way to get mail. I know people use P.O. boxes, like UPS. You can do a P.O. box there and use it as an address, I believe. I get my mail mostly paperless. Things that I can't do paperless, I'll have sent to my mom's house, and then she will send it to me wherever I am. But that rarely happens. Most of my stuff is paperless. But you're gonna want to make sure you figure out a way to get mail. And another thing, I actually heard this one in one of Alyssa Vanilla's videos about this same topic. If you have like debit or credit cards that are expiring anytime soon, just go ahead and, get that taken care of, because it's going to be difficult to do while you're traveling and possibly in a different place every other day. So definitely take care of that kind of stuff before starting van life. All right, so something else you're going to want to prepare for is money. How are you going to afford to do van life? Are you going to work hard over the summer and have a savings? Are you going to try to find a remote job and work while you travel? That's what I did at the beginning. I actually did all the above. I had a small savings when I left LA, and I lived off of that for a little bit. And then I started doing remote jobs. I actually did over the phone political canvassing, and I did teaching English to non-English speaking people on preply.com with my TEFL certification, which I got. None of those things really worked out for me, so I eventually figured out other ways, and now I am working off of YouTube, which is I'm very happy for, and I'm very blessed to say that I am living off of the content that I put out. So figure out how you're going to make money. If you're gonna do it on the road, I actually will leave a link of some sites you can check out for remote work. But yeah, finding out how you're going to afford this is such an important thing. You definitely want to figure it out before you hit the road, obviously. So if you're interested in doing this, the best thing I can say, I know it's overused and people just say, just go do it. But genuinely, just find a place where you can park overnight, maybe a couple nights, and take whatever car you have, whatever vehicle, even if you don't have a van yet, just grab a vehicle, grab some blankets, grab a pillow. If you have plans to bring a pet on the road with you, grab your pet so you can start training them how to be more of a travel pet. That's what I did with Lars. At 2 months old, he was already going on little small road trips with me. So just start practicing. Like, you can sleep at a Cracker Barrel parking lot, or you can go into the woods. I think switching it up like that would really give you more of a real feel, because you're probably not always going to be in the woods, and you're probably not always going to be in an urban area. So switch it up. But yeah, just try it for a weekend or longer if you can, and see if it's something you could really see yourself doing long term. All right, so you've decided that you're gonna do it, you're gonna figure it out, and you're gonna hit the road. Well, the next thing, of course, is gonna be, what vehicle are you gonna be using? If you're gonna be using a van, there's a few things you're gonna need to think about before you purchase a van. First and foremost, you do not, and I repeat, you do not need a fancy Sprinter van, the ones you see on Instagram and stuff. You do not need a fancy Sprinter van to do van life in a proper way. There's no proper way to do van life. You get in a van, you travel around, that's van life. I hope you guys can hear me. Lars is licking himself crazy right now. But it's not required to have a big fancy or a new fancy van to do van life. I have a 1999 Chevy Astro, and this is my third cross-country trip in less than a year. So just make sure it's a good van and you should be all set. Super important thing to think about is the size of your van. Obviously, as you can see, this is not a large van by any means. It's just a van that I found before I left. I didn't have too much time to prep. If I did, I honestly would have gotten a much larger van, but for the price range that I could afford at the time and the vans that I was looking at, the Astro really was the one that looked the best, that was the most mechanically intact, and it was just the better option. But if you have time and you have the ability to take some time, save up maybe a little more to get something that's larger for your lifestyle. If you're a smaller person, you might want a smaller van. If you're a bigger person, you might want a bigger van, or whatever. Just think about the size of the van before you purchase one, because being comfortable in the space that you're in is gonna also help you stave off that dreaded burnout, which affects so many of us in this life. So think about the size of your van before picking. The next biggest thing I can say for a tip before you buy a van, you're gonna wanna put practicality and accessibility over aesthetics. I know it's so easy to want your van to look a certain way, and maybe you already have a certain van in your mind, but you're gonna wanna think practicality over aesthetic. You're gonna wanna think of how and where to put things to where they are easy to grab, easy to use. Because if everyday things like, grabbing some clothes or grabbing some food to cook becomes a tedious thing, you're just not gonna wanna do it, and you'll probably find yourself stopping at McDonald's over just making oatmeal because it's so ridiculous to reach under, pull things out and grab it. So make sure things are easy to access and practical. This next one seems like an obvious no-brainer, but get your vehicle checked by at least one mechanic, maybe even two, just to be sure. Because going out on the road and something happening to your van, it's not fun. It happens to the best of us. But if there's things that you can fix before you head out, you're gonna thank yourself. So get your vehicle checked by one, maybe two mechanics, and then take the time, save up, fix the problem before you head out. When I got my van, I paid $1,500 for it, and there was a problem with the rotor in the front. And it was only a few $100, but I, got it taken care of, and it fixed the problem, and Astro's been riding good since then. So take care of the issues before you hit the road, please. Last thing about the van before you head out, don't be afraid to just start with whatever you have and add along the way. When I first left LA to start van life, I had a futon and a rug, and that was literally it. So don't be scared to go out with pretty much a bare bones thing, because you'll find time along the way to decide what you want and put things into your van. It doesn't all have to be at one time. All right, so you have all of your prep done. You've got money, you've got a job, you've got your van. Now what do you do? Where do you start? I think one of the best apps out there is iOverlander, which is what I use most of the time to find free camp spots, paid camp spots, water to refill my 5-gallon container, etc. So iOverlander, I would definitely recommend you guys download that. But one really important thing you're going to want to do, because in this life, you can't really control everything. You can make a plan, but that doesn't mean that it's necessarily going to go that way. But as much as you can, you should prepare and make sure you have options. So say you're planning to drive a 6-hour day, and you have your spot that you're going to be staying at 6 hours away. You should definitely think of little points in between that you could stay at if you had to, because the worst case is you get to a place and then you don't know where to go. Maybe you've got bad cell service now, or whatever the cause may be, but you're going to want to make sure you have backup plans and backup plans for your backup plans. Places like Planet Fitness, public libraries, and Starbucks are your friends. Places you can go work out, take a shower. Starbucks, you can get coffee, you can hang out, it's free Wi-Fi. Same with public libraries. These places are your friends. You're gonna find that you probably spend a lot of time at Planet Fitness or any other gym and public libraries. And I feel like they're like kind of a hidden gem. Like, libraries are such a great place. You can go recharge your batteries, your laptop, your phone, use Wi-Fi. So definitely add those to your list of places to go. Now, I want to end this video with a couple things that will help you avoid van life burnout, which is, of course, when you just get to a point where you're not having a good time anymore. Everything's getting on your nerves. You're just burnt out. You're exhausted. You're tired of it, and you just want to go back to a different type of living. The biggest thing that I can think of that can help is making sure you stay physically active and clean. This ranges from showering to using a bathroom. You want to make sure you have options that help you feel more human, for lack of better words, because it's so easy while doing van life to get to a point where you feel like you are just on the outside of society and you can't integrate back in. But staying physically fit, hiking, working out at the gym, and staying clean, taking showers regularly, having a good bathroom system, whether that be in your van or just being near places where you can go, that will definitely help prolong your time on the road. And lastly, for this video, the last thing that I can think of that's gonna really help you stay on the road is avoiding bad weather and following good weather. It keeps you moving and it keeps you feeling better. Right now, I am parked right next to the beach and it is 63 degrees. I'm obviously in my van. I feel good. Back where I just left, which was Alabama, it's about 100 degrees there. So obviously I couldn't do that, especially with a cat. So I've been following good weather, which, I mean, obviously, thankfully, I'm blessed to be able to afford to do such a drastic change from Alabama to now in Northern California. But if you can just go somewhere where maybe it's 10 degrees cooler, that will all go into helping you feel better. Therefore, it will stave off that van life burnout more and keep you on the road. But all right, guys, that was it for today. That was part one. Like I said, I have so many more tips and things that I could talk about. If you guys want to see more, please consider subscribing, liking, and let me know down in the comments that you want to see a part 2. And if enough people are interested, I will definitely be dropping a part 2, possibly even next week. So let me know. If you have any questions, leave them below. I'll try to get to as many as I can. I really hope you guys found this helpful, and I will hopefully see you out on the road. Peace. Places like Starbucks, Planet Fitness, public libraries. Places like Planet Fitness, Starbucks, public library. Why can't I say? Places like Starbucks, library.